So just to recap, Iran blocked the Strait of Hormuz as part of its escalation, mainly to raise costs for its adversaries and threaten global energy supplies. They threatened to attack ships trying to pass. I think they've shot at 3 cargo ships now, and they've essentially claimed complete control of the strait. And that's obviously affected much of the global economy, obviously oil markets, which by extension affect basically everything: airlines, transportation, logistics, energy, consumer stuff, automobiles, fertilizers for crops. So there's concern over the food supply, tons of things. But it's also affecting how individual people manage their own money. And it's been reported that wealthy expats have been looking at moving money out of the Middle East and into less uncertain areas like Singapore. It's been very difficult for people to trade physical gold because flights have been halted and insurance costs are expensive. So the physical gold markets are very stressed. I mean, not that stressed. It's a $20 trillion market and price hasn't moved that much. But just in that little section of the market, it's hard for people to deal gold right now. But I think the real story is what's happening in Iran. Because just before the war, Chainalysis reported that Iran's crypto market was experiencing, quote, a flight to Bitcoin, which was reflecting rising geopolitical tensions and domestic unrest, etc. And then weeks later, when the conflict intensified and bombs were being dropped, Chainalysis reported that Iranians had begun moving funds off of local exchanges in big numbers. And nearly 60% of those funds, it's in the pie chart on that Chainalysis article, 60% of those funds ended up in cold storage, which suggests a desire of the Iranians to self-custody their money. And then 27% of those wallets transferred their coins to overseas crypto exchanges, which suggests the intention to either just liquidate their money or at least get it out of Iranian exchanges where it's vulnerable to government seizure or cyber attacks. And it's interesting to note that it wasn't just citizens driving all the activity. It was also the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the Iranian government. They also built a war chest of stablecoins leading up to the war. And in 2025, Chainalysis says that they initiated at least $3 billion worth of transfers throughout the year. So, the bottom line is apparently during wartime, during geopolitical tensions, the general population will turn to crypto to protect their personal wealth, while the government also turns to crypto to protect their trade capabilities and their power. So either way, all routes lead to digital assets. I think it's a big moment for cryptocurrency because war and geopolitical uncertainty allows digital assets to showcase their best utility, which I think is that it's mobile and non-physical, which means they're immune or at least really resilient to a long list of threats. People have historically had trouble seeing the value in digital assets because they say things like, you can't live in your crypto. You can't wear it. You can't eat it. You can't hang it in your hallway and enjoy it. But now I think we're realizing that that's literally the entire point. Because if it exists in non-physical form and it's mobile, that means it's resilient to war and robbery and missiles and government seizures, whatever, extreme weather, capital controls, aggressive taxation, and the closure of trade routes. And maybe none of that is important to you because you live in a safe, stable area. Maybe you live on a nice ranch in Montana and you do your banking at the local trustee credit union and your gold is buried out in the backyard and everything's just friggin' hunky-dory. Nothing ever happens. Okay, fine. Maybe you don't really need crypto. But for the rest of the world, which is increasingly descending into war and lawlessness and communism, and digital assets are starting to make more sense. And by the way, Tether's market cap was declining leading up to the war, which is really rare. But since March 3rd, it's been going up. USDC's market cap is up.
Same.
Shares in Circles are up 140%. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the trend continue.